Calling to order the 45th regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear God, please bless our meeting today. May our discussions be fruitful, our decisions wise, and our community strong. Amen. Amen. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Pletcher.
Present. We're going to begin today with a special presentation by the superintendent of our Buildings and Grounds Department, Mark Eiffelise, for two very special employees who've served this county respectively a quarter century, 25 years apiece, Raymond Halstead and Lillian James. So I would ask if Superintendent Eiffelise would come forward to say a few words about these extraordinary public servants.
Good morning, Commissioners. These three custodians that we have up here, Rebecca Clark has put in 27 years. So she's over the 25-year stretch there. But Lillian, Raymond, and Rebecca all work, and Rebecca used to work at night. She works on days now. But they're the ones that are the unsung heroes of the county. They clean, sanitize all of our buildings. They keep them nice, neat, and clean. They're here at night, so when residents of Lake County and employees of Lake County come into work, they have a nice, clean area to work in. I've had other county commissioners and officials comment on how well and neat and clean our buildings are. I just want to congratulate them on the 25 years. They've been here through the hard times and the good times. They've been here when other custodians were laid off and they had to come through in COVID and work every night to sanitize and take care of all the offices. So I'd just like to thank Lillian, Raymond, and Rebecca, who isn't here, for their service. So, thank you.
I would ask if Lillian and Raymond, who are with us here today, would step forward along with our superintendent to be acknowledged. Commissioner.
Oh, sir, thank you. Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. With that, we will return to our regularly scheduled programming and public portion. Any member of the public who'd like to step forward and speak, please give your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. Anyone for public portion this morning? Bishop.
My name is Gerard Mabel, 1049 Brentwood Drive, Pennsville, Ohio. I'm so pleased to stand here today. I'm sorry. Practically, people always ask me, give me a word, give me a word. And I'm so glad that I was introduced to the Bible, because in the early days, my mother and my family didn't know the Bible. They did not know. But thank God for the Bible. Thank God for the word of the Lord that's really helping me. And that's the place that I really receive a word from the Lord. Practically, like today is November the 14th, and I will read Psalm 14. And through reading the word, through praying in the word, that really helped me, and that give me strength. And also, I'm able to help other people. And as I said many times, I can say it 1,000 times, it will not be enough in this room here, where it says, with God, all things are possible. So I'm so grateful, and I'm so thankful again. When I started speaking here, only people that was following me started at 5,000, and now I have 26,710 on my professional dashboard. What this is, it is good to come together. It is good. And thank you, sir, Commissioner Amechek, for inviting me to start coming, because I've been living here for so long and I go everywhere, but I never had the opportunity to come to the commissioners' meeting. And I'm so glad that you did. And I'm so glad also, Commissioner Plechnik, for allowed me to hold on the word, your Bible. You could choose anybody. And I was so pleased for that. And I'm so pleased for the three of you. And the reason why is because you are giving yourself to this community. And all the 88 counties, all over the United States, it's not easy to be a public servant. Practically, it's really not about none of us, it's about the people. It's like become a bishop. You're not a bishop for yourself. You are a bishop for your community. You are a bishop for your people. You are a bishop for people that you meet. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. Anyone else for public portion this morning?
Chris Bahari, 185 West Jackson Street. I'm very thoughtful not to bring those to ring, but I do use those in prayer. And as we're coming in this season now, is a season of thanks and giving. Really, these two words in American culture are very important, and we need to understand is like spirit and truth. Is we give thanks and we give to others. So let us have a moment of silence and thoughtfulness as we live our life in thanks for giving. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Mr. Mara.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Mara, 39 Minnewawa Drive, Timberlake. I'm here today to speak on behalf of the residents and property owners of Lake County regarding the significant burden of property taxes. We're facing a challenge that is outgrowing local resources, the overwhelming cost of funding our schools through property taxes. I'd like to propose a solution that could bring immediate and substantial relief to every property owner, whether residential or business: a state takeover of school funding. Currently, over 60% of property tax revenue in Lake County goes to our schools. This heavy reliance on local property taxes not only places an undue financial burden on our residents, especially seniors, and those on fixed incomes, but also makes our businesses less competitive. Transitioning school funding to the state would result in an immediate reduction of property taxes by more than 50% for every property owner. Additionally, many of our schools are on the verge of bankruptcy, highlighting the urgent need for systemic change. Federal government aid could serve as a critical support mechanism to stabilize these districts during this transition. This issue isn't just a Lake County problem, it's a statewide crisis. Communities across Ohio are grappling with similar challenges as a reliance on local property taxes for school funding creates inequities, financial stress, and inefficiencies that impact all Ohioans. Addressing this at the state level would provide a unified and fair solution for everyone. Let me outline a few of the benefits of this shift. 1, fairness and equity. A state-funded system ensures that all school districts, regardless of local property wealth, receive equitable funding. This means our children's education is no longer tied to the value of our homes or businesses businesses, but instead reflects a commitment to statewide educational standards and opportunities. 2, economic growth. A 50% reduction in property taxes would spur economic development. Businesses would find Lake County more attractive, leading to increased investments, job creation, and a broader tax base. 3, support for our residents. For homeowners, particularly seniors living on fixed incomes, this change could mean a difference between staying in their homes or being forced to sell during rising taxes. It provides relief where it is needed most, allowing families to better allocate their resources. 4, transparency and accountability. With state funding, the complex and often opaque process of property reappraisals would no longer disproportionately affect residents. The state's education funding would come from more uniform sources, providing a clear oversight and accountability. 5, long-term stability for schools. State-level funding for federal aid would create a more predictable and sustainable financial environment for schools, reducing the risk of sudden budget shortfalls and enabling long-term planning. Enhanced education outcomes. With equitable, consistent funding, schools can invest in better resources, hire additional qualified teachers, and provide innovative programs that improve student performance and prepare them for the future. This isn't an untested idea. States like Texas have explored more centralized approaches to school funding, reducing their reliance on property taxes, and instead of drawing from broader revenue sources such as sales taxes or state.
Thank you, Mr. Mara. Mr. Massey?
May I approach and
Absolutely.
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive in Concord Township. With the allowance of the commissioners, I would like to follow up on the remaining few paragraphs that Mr. Mara did not have time. This isn't an untested idea. States like Texas have explored more centralized approaches to in-school funding, reducing their reliance on property taxes and instead drawing from a broader revenue source, such as sales taxes or state income taxes. By shifting this responsibility, Ohio would not only lower property taxes, but also modernize its approach to funding public education. I urge you, as our commissioners, to advocate for the change at the state level. Lake County residents are hardworking and they deserve a fairer system that reduces their tax burden while ensuring our schools are adequately funded. It's time to prioritize the well-being of our communities and recognize that the current system is unsustainable. Thank you for your time and for your services to our country. I hope that you join me in championing this critical reform for the benefit of all Lake County residents and businesses. I give a big shout out to Mayor Mara for doing that. When you think about what is happening at the federal level with President-elect Trump saying that he will defund the Federal Department of Education, that means that there's going to be a new day dawning for public education in the United States. And when I take a look at what is happening in Lake County, I am rooting for Dr. Ahuja and the entire board, the new board at Lakeland Community College. They have a tremendous task ahead of them because right now they've got 4,400 students. They think by 2027 they may raise it to 4,800, and this compared to the heyday of 10,000, it's just not practical. Then when I look at the Auburn Career Center, the costs for to maintain that, I will be advocating that someone take a look at perhaps joining the Auburn with the Lakeland Community College. It's the amount of money that the taxpayers are paying on property taxes for this education is just unreal. It's no one's fault, it's, I guess, other than, there's been a change in our society with a decline in number of students using it. But that means that we have to, think outside the box and for public education. Again, I'm rooting for Dr. Ahuja. He seems like a very decent gentleman. Same thing with Ellen Foley Kessler as the chairman of the board. But we're all going to need help. We believe that public education, they really should be competing for the children. and not just automatically, if you live in this district, you go to that school. I believe in giving more of the responsibility back to the parents for their education.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Massey. Anyone else for public portion today? Anyone else? Going once, going twice, then on to resolutions. Madam Clerk.
In the Engineer's Office, resolution authorizing change order number 2 for the LAK Middle Ridge Road, County Road 22 resurfacing project with Roniak Paving Incorporated in the amount of $11,200. Federal aid number FAN E240101, PID number 119690, and LCE project number 2023-012.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Utilities Department, resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $550,000 for Fifth Street sanitary improvements in the village of Fairport Harbor.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich,
Abstain?
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution accepting a 3-year maintenance bond in the amount of $9,010.23 for water lines for West Pine subdivision job number 23-39 in the city of Willoughby Hills.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations in Lake County Department of Utilities water and solid waste funds for additional 2024 expenses.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In Job and Family Services Department, resolution approving Lake County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers date of warrant November 22nd, 2024 in the amount of $594,295.92.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution authorizing the Board of Lake County Commissioners to issue a request for proposals for professional consulting services for the Lake County plan called Lake County, Ohio Vision 2050, similar to a comprehensive plan proposal opening December 4th, 2024.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? I'll just say that during his report, our county administrator will speak more to our upcoming master plan for Lake County. It's something that I've pushed for as president of the commission this year. I think it's very important that for the first time in more than half a century, we have a master plan for economic development, lakefront development, and the growth of our community. We're very blessed to be in a growing community, but we need to grow smart, and we need to make sure that all 23 municipalities are heard, everyone's working together, and we move into the next half century with success. But we'll hear more from our county administrator during his report. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,729,256.40.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Journal in the amount of $539,650.40.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within the various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Hammercheck,
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes. With the conclusion of resolutions, it's time for departmental reports, starting with Job and Family Services.
Thank you, Commissioner. Today, I just wanted to give a public service announcement to those individuals in our community who are eligible for food assistance benefits. Recently, the state out of Columbus has made local Job and Family Services aware that criminals have been targeting Ohio SNAP EBT and cash assistance clients by placing skimming devices on store card readers. And these skimmers allow them to capture the card and PIN numbers without individuals who are receiving those benefits knowing. So there are some steps that individuals can take who receive assistance through Job and Family Services. They should download the Connect EBT app on their phones. This allows them to receive transaction alerts as well as lock their cards. They should check their card statements often for any unusual transactions, and they should report any card misuse to our agency, to their local Job and Family Services agency. So again, just wanted to make that public service announcement in hopes that we could protect people's benefits. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have our County Administrator, Jason Boyd.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners. Pursuant to the resolution Commissioner Pleshek spoke of a moment ago, under the direction of David Radacci in the Planning Community Development Department, we have issued a request for proposals for what will be the first countywide comprehensive plan, strategic plan, what have you, since 1965. And we briefly spoke about that a couple weeks ago during our State of the County presentation. I think it's important to note that this strategy will be respective of the 23 communities and their existing zoning and planning. We understand the home rule component that they have, but I think this document will begin to consolidate, collaborate on those growth initiatives. And in the 1960s, 1950s into the 60s, we were looking at growth of the county. We will obviously continue that strategy with this comprehensive plan, but we want to also focus on continued redevelopment of the county. As I noted in some of the historical photos, the West End in the 1950s was still fairly undeveloped, and then it happened. Well, obviously we have growth opportunities, Painesville points east predominantly, but we also want to make sure that we have redevelopment strategies on the West End, utilizing resources like our Lake County Land Bank, Ohio Department of Development. So it'll be a more diverse document. Obviously in the 1960s, the lakefront was kind of viewed as the back door. Clearly our vision is the front door of Lake County moving forward. The industrial lakefront is of the past, and it's more recreation and economic development. So this will be approximately probably a one-year process date by the time we get up and running with significant public input. We've looked at what has occurred in Lorain County. They did more of a strategic plan, but a heavy emphasis on technology as far as public input is concerned. Pretty impressive strategy that they undertook. So we'll see what proposals come in on December the 4th. Dave has created a review team, which I'm on. We'll review those, shortlist them, do interviews, and then hopefully, I forget, Dave will have a proposed contract in front of the board, hopefully by Christmas, Dave? Yeah. And then we'll get to work on it. So we're really excited to consolidate, hear from our 23 township cities and villages on what their vision is, and then have one working document. I think it's important to note that with a lot of federal and state grants, they ask for what's the strategic plan call for in this area. We have been lacking that. David and I started in planning, he a couple years before I, in the late 90s. There was efforts under previous administrators and directors to get a comprehensive plan that never came to fruition. So I really appreciate the board's kind of pushing us down this road. I think it'll be a very beneficial document for the next 20 to 30 years. So thank you.
Thank you. On to Madam Clerk.
The next commissioner meeting is scheduled for next Thursday, November 21st, 10 a.m.
And legal.
No report, Commissioner.
Thank you so much. So on to old business. Any old business to come before the board?
Mr. President,
Mr. Commissioner.
so just to address Mr. Massey and Mayor Mara, our conference for CCAO, County Commissioners Association of Ohio, is coming up in the beginning of December. I'll be there. Commissioner Hamercheck and I are on a committee there where we pick about 4 or 5 items that we really want to go to bat for at a statewide. It's kind of a lobbying committee that we want the whole group of county commissioners to get behind, and overwhelmingly, and I think Commissioner Hamercheck would agree, every one of us, I think, stood up and said we have to do something about property tax. What's going to be done about property tax? And we'll bring your ideas to that table when I'm down there in that conference for sure. But I think your sentiment is felt throughout the state. So hopefully that'll encourage our state leaders to really take a look at it. I know it's a difficult and deep dive, but sometimes you got to do that hard work. So But I just want to let you know that it's something that we're working on and we advocate for, so.
Mr. Boyd?
My apologies, Commissioner, maybe this is new business. I totally forgot to mention next Friday, the 22nd of November, we will have pardon me if you guys were going to bring this up, we'll have the groundbreaking for the Lake County Sheriff's Office project directly across the street at 11 a.m. from the current facility. Be an exciting day I'm sure, for the sheriff and the commissioners and Lake County in general, moving the first shovel of dirt for what is the largest single capital improvement project in the history of the county. Subsequent to that, we will also have on Thursday, November 21st, we'll have, pursuant to revised code 153.36, a courthouse committee meeting. That'll occur at 9 a.m. here. We'll public notice that next week, and then we'll roll into the 10 o'clock board meeting next Thursday, groundbreaking on Friday. So a lot of exciting things next week. So thank you.
Thank you.
Can Bishop Maribel pray for good weather on Friday?
Yes. Any further old business? Then let me just say for my part, I share Mayor Mara's concerns very deeply about the accelerating property tax values and ultimately property tax increases that residents will have to start paying on come next year. We've seen the values, but we will be paying the bills next year, which is why I think it's so important that our state legislature takes action in their lame duck session this December to make sure that we have a solution for taxpayers. Because if they don't act by then, folks are going to have to start paying, and I know there are a lot of folks who can't afford to. Mayor Mara's proposed, and I certainly second, that we need to stop taxing phantom gains from inflation. We need to stop increasing property values without a sale. These unrealized gains are simply unfair for residents and taxpayers. There's a very simple solution. You either freeze the property value in between sales, or like Florida, you cap it. They have a 3% cap, I believe, in between each valuation, in between each sale. While it's not as good as a freeze, it's a lot better than having your value go up 40, 50, 30%. And so I think the legislature needs to look to Florida very carefully, consider a full freeze or at least a cap. And in addition to that, there are those of us who are even less capable of paying the bill. Those of us who are on fixed incomes, we know that we're not keeping up with inflation. We know that Social Security, we know that pensions are not keeping up with inflation. And for seniors on a fixed income, they literally are being taxed out of their homes, which is why I've personally proposed last year, and I've repeated it many times, a 100% property tax exemption for seniors. So I hope that the state legislature takes these ideas and moves forward swiftly, because folks are going to have to start coming up with the money very soon. And I hear from so many residents, they call me, they reach out saying, I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. This might be my last property tax season because I won't be able to afford to be a homeowner after this. So I sincerely hope that happens. To CCAO, I will say, I did receive a call from the County Commissioners Association of Ohio. I suspect that most of my colleagues did too, asking me to lobby my state representatives and senators to ask for a pay raise. And I will not be doing that. I will not be calling them and saying, please raise my salary as a county commissioner. But I will continue to push them to freeze property tax values and to give an exemption for seniors. That's what really matters. We're not here to get a raise for ourselves. We're here to stand with our residents and make sure that there is reform on property taxes sooner rather than later. We joke about the fruitcake we get for Christmas. We want a real present. We want a real gift from the state legislature this year, which is to freeze property tax values for everyone and give seniors relief in the form of 100% exemption. I am not flattering myself to think they're going to take Mayor Mara's suggestions or mine unchanged. I know that there are many bills in the legislature that give modest benefits to taxpayers. Any of them would be better than nothing. And I know that the taxpayer will take what the taxpayer can get, but I think the time for half measures is over. When inflation raised the value by 3% or 4% or 10%, people were annoyed. Now we are literally putting people out of their homes. So I hope sincerely that our state reps and senators listen. I'm hearing from countless people. I'm sure they are too. But folks have to start listening, and then they have to start taking action. With that, any further old business to come before the board? Hearing none, any new business?
Mr. President,
Mr. Commissioner.
just want to put a shout out to, we have 4 high school football teams. Mentor, Lake Catholic, Perry, and Kirtland's continuing on in the playoffs of the state this weekend, so let's all root for them, and hopefully we're successful.
Very good. Any further new business? Going once, going twice? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second, sir.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Putz?
Yes, we stand adjourned.